Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, they're holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on fire. Time for a girl on fire. Time for
Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well today. It is a very busy Monday in Paisley's world, and it has been insane. Insane in the membrane, I'll say that. We have almost 5 hours of TPO hearings from today. We were going through a dry spell recently, so I'm a little bit excited about that. And of course, I've picked what I think is probably in the top 3 of the hearings for us to watch. I won't say that it's the best yet, but it probably has the most spice in it. I didn't watch the entire thing. I listened in and out. I listened and I did judge. I listened and I did judge. And that's what we're going to do today. We listen and we do judge. So, there is a Paisley world. Yeah, I could imagine it, Bill. Adam, happy Monday. You guys, this is my last Coca-Cola. I love you, Coca-Cola. You're so cold. Oh, it's so cold. I love you. Even though you will leave me so soon. That means I'll have to venture out of my house to get Coca-Cola. That's just the way it is. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo. Things will never be the same. Doodaloo. Hey, you're on my face. Doodaloo, doodaloo. Okay. So, the title is very confusing. The case is confusing in itself. Give me a moment, please. Yeah, Judge was busting it out today. That's another case we have. That's another case we have. That's another case we have. Remember her with the glasses? Anyways, but we are going to watch this one.
Harm to you, no contact.
Oh, don't ruin them.
Oh, Mr. Johnson wants.
Can you just stop ruining shit for everybody? I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it.
To rephrase the question, and then Ms. O'Brien.
So let's move on from that.
Oh, fucking hands up. I thought we were already started this hearing. Obviously not. Let's go. What? Now I'm in the middle. What the fuck is happening? Excuse my language. Here we go. That's how I feel, Judge. Fuck.
Paris, all right. And Ms. Carnes is on Zoom. Why don't you come on up here? We're going to have to kind of do an hour and a half. All right.
As well, that was.
I think probably we're going to continue the O'Brien matter here. We're going to set a new court date because realistically, we're not going to get to things. Oh, he's back. All right. Mr. Johnson, you with us?
Oh, hello, Your Honor. Yes, I am.
All right. Are you free from the other court?
Yes, I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate your patience.
Okay. So we'll take your matter up now. Then if Brooke O'Brien you are there. Jason O'Brien, we have you. And now we have Mr. Johnson, who's representing Mr. O'Brien. And 2532 is our case. You don't have to stay there, Ms. Paris, if you don't want. And Let me get the documents up before me. As you see, I'm going to be looking back and forth as I've got an electronic file, and I am listening, but looking at what's been filed. Thank you. Let's see. All right. There's a lot of information filed, and I had an opportunity to review it all. So let me put Ms. O'Brien, have you raise your right hand? Brooke O'Brien, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. And then Jason O'Brien, raise your right hand with me. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going to start out here. I've had an opportunity, as I said, to review. There's lots of information provided on all sides. And Mr. Johnson is representing Mr. O'Brien, and he's going to have the opportunity to ask questions of Ms. O'Brien and to present the case for Mr. O'Brien. So first off, Ms. O'Brien, then as I said, I've looked at everything. And let me just kind of open something up here again. So I have it before me. There it is. Before I allow Mr. Johnson to ask any questions, what would you like to say that you haven't already put into evidence or something you want to focus in on? Or
Your Honor, I'm just here again today to request a 1-year protection order, sadly, against my father. My father's harassed and threatened and sabotaged a lot of things regarding a DV situation as well. That was submitted as well, that he bailed out my husband in a DV situation. The mental and verbal abuse has continued into my adulthood, as I've submitted that as well. I've endured this behavior for far too long, which is why I'm here today. My father's lied in his declaration about his Facebook accounts. I've proved that in exhibits that he's perjured himself. He's used multiple Facebook accounts to harass
you're
and reach
referring to your
out.
second petition, your second response? Is that what you're referring to, those exhibits?
Well, I wasn't allowed to respond to any other exhibits prior last court date.
I have the second declaration of petitioner.
Then yes, then that was submitted.
Okay.
That is what I'm talking
And those
about.
pictures that are appended to that, is that what you're talking about? Or,
Yes.
okay.
And then on top of this, he's used those accounts for years. My father's sister, Natasha, also lied in her declaration by falsely stating that I obtained and shared content without her knowledge or permission. These were messages clearly Natasha sent to me by herself, also proven in the exhibits I provided. Natasha's no longer here with us as she has passed away. So having her to deal with this on her deathbed is quite concerning in general for her to write anything as she was medicated on morphine to pass peacefully. I believe my request for protection rises to level of unlawful harassment, and I believe my father needs to be accountable for his behaviors that he is all of his witnesses attested to in their declarations. I believe he also, the only way that this will stop and this behavior will stop progressively will be because of legal repercussions. Thank you for your time.
So you're asking for an order that would do what? What would you want?
Protect me from all the things that I've submitted to the courts, ma'am.
So what does that mean? No contact of any kind with your father, not allow him to contact you through family, through friends, through social media, to stay
Correct.
away from you, a geographical distance?
Yes.
Just looking at your petition here to be clear what you're asking for. Let's see, you said no harm to you, no contact with you, no stalking, stay 1,000 feet away from your person, your residence, school or daycare. I didn't see any kid. Yes, of the
Yeah, her name's Gracelyn in the
child.
back, and yes, I want her involved as well for a year.
And all right, so all of those things you asked in your petition, that's what you're asking for.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Let me just kind of review again to see if I have any particular question. Well, Mr. Johnson, why don't you go ahead? Do you have any questions of Ms. O'Brien?
Yes. Ms. O'Brien, isn't it true that you received financial assistance from your husband as recently as January?
How is my husband allowed or even able to give me financial assistance?
Not your husband. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Your father. Your father provided financial assistance to you and your husband as recently as January, true?
Since January, because we worked for him on in his construction company, yes. But that was also paid wages that were earned.
So those Venmo transactions, $400 here, $50,
Which are directed
etc.
towards
Those
Destin Kendrick and as well as the money that's obtained by my father for work has nothing to do with the harassment. So let's move on from that.
well, I think it's telling. You were asking your father for money repeatedly as recently as a week before filing this order. Isn't that true?
That's untrue, actually.
Well, we have the
Yeah, a week prior to my domestic violence situation, so not technically the restraining order.
okay, but your father was Venmoing you money, Venmoing your husband at your request. True?
Untrue. It was for paid wages that were worked on his job site.
I see. And so the paid wages were in irregular increments, like $400 here, $50 there,
My
another
financial
$75.
situations are none of your concern, actually.
So, Ms. O'Brien, let the question be finished and then answer it as best you can. So, Mr. Johnson, want to rephrase the question, and then Ms. O'Brien, then you answer the question.
It was pretty straightforward the first time, Your Honor.
I want to hear it because they were talking over each other. So, Mr. Johnson, what's the question again?
Thank you. So it's your contention here today that each and every time that Mr. O'Brien was Venmoing and sending cash money to you and your husband, it was strictly income.
Hey, Carol, we just got started. Courtney, she does have a lot of sass, hey? We really just got started, I think. But if you could make sure to hit the like button, please. Thank you so much. Also, please note the judge is on hour 3 and a bit during this case, so just keep that in mind. These people have also been waiting 3 and a bit hours.
Compensation for wages.
Correct, and it's an ex-husband, thank you.
Okay. And so over the course of the previous, and that was the last transaction was about a week before you filed this restraining order, isn't that true?
To Destin Kendrick, yes.
Okay. And that was while the two of you were still together prior to the domestic violence situation.
Yes.
And the domestic violence situation that you're referring to throughout is Justin and yourself. Isn't that right?
Sorry,
Yeah,
I couldn't hear that,
yes.
Mr. Johnson. What was the question?
The domestic violence situation that you've referred to numerous occasions is the domestic violence situation involving your husband and you, true?
Yes, if you read the declarations, that would be true.
And Mr. O'Brien, my client, the respondent, was not present during any domestic violence situation between you and your husband that Mr. Kendrick, your husband, was arrested for, true?
Yes, true. It was midnight. I don't think anyone
Okay,
should be at my house at midnight, but yes.
got it. So at midnight, you and your husband get into some sort of a domestic violence
Let's pause for a
situation.
second.
Ms. O'Brien, you need a what? What are you asking for?
To get into details about the domestic violence is pretty triggering for me, and that's not to be discussed under what is here today. It's harassment. So I don't like to discuss further into my domestic violence situation. Besides that, this is added up to my dad bailing him out of jail. That is the
Okay, so you're
only
saying
parts of that.
that it's not relevant for Mr. Johnson to ask about what happened between you and Dustin Kendrick.
Yes, it's none of his concern nor his
Okay.
business.
Well, a lot of things start to open up when we come to court, but I'm going to turn to Mr. Johnson about that. Mr. Johnson, maybe you can tell me where you're headed so I can make a decision about that objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I think I have the answers that I was looking for already, so I can move to the next series of
All right.
questions. Okay.
On.
Thank you. So your husband is your direct first cousin, isn't that true?
If that's what it states in the thing and what he wanted to pursue, yeah. If that's what you guys,
He's the son of Mr. O'Brien's sister, isn't that right?
yes.
And Mr. O'Brien's sister was dying of brain cancer throughout this situation. True?
It's
Lung cancer.
lung cancer.
Lung
and
cancer. I'm sorry.
That's kind of disregarding and sad that you guys couldn't get that right. Rest in peace to Natasha.
Yes, may she rest in peace. It was lung cancer. I apologize. So she was dying of lung cancer.
Correct.
And let me back up a second. So by your own testimony, you were working for your father. You were in a relationship, father-daughter relationship with your father, up to the point that you and your husband get involved in a domestic violence situation at midnight. Is that right?
Yes, but it's also pursued into my dad as a pattern behavior that this has not happened just more than once, which has been submitted as well in my declarations.
Got it. So you were very upset that you found out through a third party planning to bail your husband, your cousin, his nephew out of jail. True?
Wouldn't you be upset if your father didn't believe that's in court record that happened and he decided to bail someone out in regards of strangulation, his own daughter, and putting his hands on me? I think anybody would be upset regarding that.
Ms. O'Brien, this is a difficult situation for everyone. Asking the attorneys questions or what they would feel is not relevant. I'll ask you to answer questions that you can. All right, so
Which I am doing my best
make
to
extra
do.
comments. Don't ask questions of the attorney and how they would feel about something. Simply answer the question that they pose. So, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Honor. Mr. Bryan, it's also possible that your father wanted to give his dying sister the gift of having face-to-face contact with her son before she passed. True?
I wasn't
Well,
knowledgeable about that, so that's really for
that's
him to
speculation,
decide.
Mr. Johnson. I don't require Ms. O'Brien to
That's
answer
called a guilt
a
trip.
question that she has to divine what another person is thinking.
Okay.
So you don't have to answer that
So
question.
fair enough. So the reason I ask you that, Ms. O'Brien, is because it sounds like you're speculating on what your father's reason is for bailing your husband cousin out of jail.
Husband, cousin, he did fucking not. Look at her! Look at Miranda! Miranda is on another case, by the way, you guys. He fucking didn't. He fucking didn't. The judge is not into that. Bro. Oh my god. Oh, I gotta timestamp that. Where's my little notebook? It's over here. It's over here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Miranda's in another case that we will watch another day. But this case is in Washington State, by the way, and we're just gonna watch Miranda again as she hears about the husband cousin. I think, don't we call that a husband? I thought that was a husband.
Father's reason is for bailing your husband cousin out of jail.
So what
True?
would you like me to respond to that?
True or false?
Yeah, I'm very angry that he did that because I'm his daughter.
So you speculated
I
as
did
to
not
what
speculate anything.
his intention was in bailing his nephew out of jail.
So yes, let me
True?
respond to that. Yes. His intentions were not pure.
That
I've received text. Please don't interrupt me. I've received text from Natasha, from my, it's being sent to me that he wishes I was dead and hung, and that he wishes I was stoned to death and beaten to death. And I think that's suffice and sufficient enough to why we're here today, of why I don't want any contact with my own father, because as a mother of myself, I would never say anything about my children that way. So let's touch there.
Ms. O'Brien, you
Jesus.
included the third party text that you received in your original petition.
Third party text in regarding to what?
Which you just stated that he had said
Yes,
some
which was
ugly
through,
things.
yes. So why is that
You,
acceptable for anybody to tell that to anybody
ma'am,
regarding?
you included those texts
Yes, I did.
that you received somehow from third parties in your original petition.
This is wild. She's married to her dad's nephew, which is her first cousin, who is her aunt's son, Natasha, who's dead. May she rest in peace. Fuck. I swear to God, I guarantee she is fucking livid at this point, guys. This is family. See, this is who am I to complain? This is a therapist though. They do. NPC, you're so sweet. Thank you for snapping me out of it here for a minute. MB, isn't it wild? This is so good. You can marry a cousin in some states. Cellulite Yoga Pants sent me a link to the Wikipedia article about that. But it doesn't look like it's legal in Washington. I believe these people have children together. Oh, the judge, again, reminder, the judge is on hour 3 of an excruciating docket today. We're talking sex toys being thrown. Yeah, that's right. That case didn't make number 1.
Isn't that right?
I received them because she sent them to me.
You included them in your temporary in your request for a temporary order. True.
True.
And you were denied that temporary order, weren't you?
This got continued. It wasn't
No,
denied,
you
it
were
was continued.
no, you
Well,
were
I don't think we
denied.
have to parse that. We're at the hearing to determine if an order will be issued. And so I do see
So
that
let's
that
get,
is part of the evidence, and we're going to talk about it all. So, Mr. Johnson, why don't you move forward from what happened about whether a temporary order was issued or not? And let's get to the meat of this, whether the court should or shouldn't issue this order.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
Also, what is the picture behind the dad? Is it a fly who skipped arm day wearing glasses? That's my guess. A fly who skips arm day wearing glasses.
Computer just froze on me. Let me. So, so it is accurate that you it is accurate that you received tens of thousands of dollars of financial support from your husband in the year leading
Father.
up to you requesting this order, or from your
Father.
Negative.
thanks.
Tens and thousands of dollars seems pretty absurd to me.
Okay.
Well, on that note, I just want to point out that I accidentally clicked on something in my banking app the other day and had an extremely rude awakening when they had compiled all of the money that I have spent at the store that I clicked on the transaction. I was horrified. Absolutely horrified. Now, and keep in mind, this is one card that's for one account, but I was like, in how long? And then I had to do a little deep dive, and I realized it's since that account was opened in 2021. So we're talking like 4 years worth of transactions, but still, I was like, $6,500 at Walmart? What? Girl? My God.
Received
So once you get
almost-
those numbers, maybe you can put that
you
on
received-
paper.
Look, this isn't an argument.
It's not an
Yeah.
argument, but we
This
are
is-
here in court today
Oh,
to
Ms.
decipher
O'Brien,
what's
just
going on.
slow down, Mr. Johnson, slow down. So, Mr. Johnson asked if you received tens of thousands of
No.
dollars from your father, and what is your answer?
False. No.
Okay, so Mr. Johnson,
Thank you. But we've provided to the court the specific transactions for just 1 month, and it totals $2,850. You saw that, correct?
Correct. And that's not, it's for paid wages.
So
No, let me talk if you want an answer, please. It's for,
it was a yes or no question, ma'am. It was a yes or no question. Here's the next question.
wonderful.
You're claiming that you worked for your father. Can you tell me what job you did working for your father?
It's under IQ construction and he doesn't actually have workman's comp. So it was to help him do dump runs. So
I
he didn't
see.
have to hire somebody to do so.
So it's your contention that you
And this isn't
did-
about money. This is about the harassment.
It's your contention that you did dump runs totaling almost $3,000 the last month
And
prior
labor.
to filing.
And labor, yes.
So this is actually the second time you filed a petition against your father, isn't that true?
This is the first time for a no contact order.
Okay. You filed this
Where did you find the
peti-
second time?
Here, let me come back to that. I'll get you the date. Hold on 1 second. Let me just go to the next question. So you also sent text messages to your father that were, I guess we could characterize.
your feed kind of broke up there, Mr. Johnson. Say that again.
You also sent text messages to your father that would be characterized as ugly. Isn't that right?
Yeah, but this is the harassment on him, not me, because I do stand up for myself and what's wrong and what's right. I can be ugly if you are ugly towards me, but at this point, this is towards him.
Well, it would
This
be
is about him
relevant for the
harassing.
court to hear your comments to Jason O'Brien if they're within a particular amount of time here. So, Mr. Johnson, go ahead.
You've used the F word toward him in text.
Oh. Do you want a yes or no to that?
Of course, I want a yes.
Well, yes, I have, as he told me he wanted me dead. So, I mean, why don't you
So
stand up for yourself?
you're characterizing the conversation where
Where's the proof in these ugly messages
he's
that have been submitted to the court?
your
So just answer the questions, Ms. O'Brien, if you can. And that's the
Well, I said
evidence,
yes the
that's
first.
his testimony. So, Mr. Johnson?
Your Honor, you're characterizing the argument that you and your father had about he perceived that you were being dishonest, and he said, "Or demise, little child."
Demise little child. I'm an adult. So we can
You
kind of
were
correct
offended.
that.
You were offended that
You're breaking up. It's not
Mr.
quite clear.
Johnson, your
you were
connection
offended.
is not good.
You here. Let me try something different, Your Honor. Hold on a second.
Charger, type C.
This is insane. Also, I'm going down the rabbit hole again. I checked it. I have only spent $395 on Amazon in the last 4 years on this card. But I'm embarrassed to say.
Okay, can you hear me better now, Your Honor?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. You were offended that he referred to you as little child?
What's the response in that text?
Well, the response in that text is telling him to F-U-C-K, etc. Right? So that means you were offended,
So
true?
where's the evidence of these messages? Because that's not been submitted.
Uh, it, let me worry about the evidence, okay?
Okay.
I'm just simply
That's
asking.
So,
crazy.
Ms. O'Brien, evidence is testimony. Answer the questions as best you can. This is not an argument you're having with Mr. Johnson. I'm trying to get evidence so I can determine what to do here. And you're arguing with the attorney isn't helping. So please
yes, I
just
was
answer the
offended.
questions.
So, ma'am, the earlier protection order was filed and denied on December 10th, 2018. True?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So you read the declaration from Natasha saying that that she did not directly send you the communication between her and Mr. O'Brien. True?
I don't know about that one.
You read Natasha's declaration?
The dead ant?
Yes, and it's false.
Okay. And so and Natasha passed away within the last week?
Oh, Jesus
Yes.
Christ. Hi, Christopher Engelby. Poor Miranda is literally stuck in the middle of this Zoom hearing like, Although you could turn your camera off, Miranda, you have at certain points in this hearing. I would have been sitting there like, oh! I mean, I can't hold my face clear, so I would have to turn off my camera or put on a mask. That's why I wear masks. To hide my reactions. Her case is crazy too, by the way. Also, I noticed she has a KitchenAid similar to mine, but I think hers is the tilt head, and I have the lift one. But they're both the same red color. Fuck yeah, baby. Oh, I love my KitchenAid.
So the text that he sent you about the little child, he said in that text, your lies have gone far enough. Good luck. True?
Untrue.
Well, that's what the text reads, right? You lied. I think there's a typo instead of lies. It's lied.
I was able to prove it. It was perjured.
You lied, have gone far enough. Good luck. True?
Untrue.
So, I guess I'm not clear on what part you're talking about was perjured. Your one of your primary claims is that he made the little child comment. Are you now saying that he did not make that comment?
Yes, he did. You asked if it
Okay,
was offensive to me, and I said
that's
yes.
that's right. But now you're saying it's perjured or something. I am not following you.
The declaration of Natasha's is
Okay,
because
but we're now turning to the text. This is the only text that was sent directly to you that is part of the evidence of this case. And that text contains
I'm sorry, Christopher. I'm sorry you're having a rough day. We're here for you, and we're glad to see you. Pull up a chair. Um, this case is fucked up. If that makes you feel any better, it makes me feel better, usually. Like, at least I'm not married to my cousin who abused me and then my dad bailed him out of jail. Like, holy fuck. Holy fuck.
continues with more writing from Mr. O'Brien, and it says, "You lied, have gone far enough. Good luck." Right?
right.
So he's upset about what he perceives. I'm not asking you whether you're lying or not. He's asking what he's responding to what he perceives is lying by you, right?
Right.
And you submitted a response to that, and the response was, um, "Go fuck yourself." True.
True.
You were angry with him, right?
The words are the words, yes.
Yeah, but they're not the words of someone who's afraid of someone, are they?
I'm not afraid of my own father, but I am, this is for me to elaborate on. So excuse that. Yes, to your answer. I'm not scared of
So
my father. Go ahead.
go ahead. That's fine.
I'm not scared of my father. I'm not scared of him, but at the same time, what he's doing is wrong and how he
So
talks to people's wrong.
got it. So you brought the petition to punish him. Is that right?
To enlighten him about his behavior, yes.
Okay. So you
Oh no, Christopher. Oh, I'm terribly sorry to hear that. Oh, you let me know if you need anything. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh,
you're upset that he bailed your husband, cousin out of jail. That's what you're upset about, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't trust him in
So
his actions either.
got it. So you're not under substantial emotional distress because he's called you little child, right?
That's the least of my concerns. I'm
Okay.
under mental stress and emotional stress because of what he's pursued in text messages that have been submitted of evidence to the court that he wishes I was dead and stoned to death. And that's pretty mentally destroying for anybody, if you ask me.
Okay. So I'm going to object to facts not in evidence. There's no evidence that Mr. O'Brien said that he wanted her dead or that he wanted her stoned to death. It's just the record is what the record is, Your Honor.
Which is a pattern of his behaviors. He was harassing me prior to him even
So, Your Honor, I'd like a
bailing me
ruling.
out of jail.
I'd like a ruling on my objection. I'm objecting facts not in evidence.
Right, I am looking at petitioner's exhibit and I'm looking at a text message that, where was that? That didn't say, it said, I just wish Destin would get smart, walk away from her and leave her hanging. Brooke needs to fucking just be hung, beaten, but still live, but be taught, spelled Tought, a lesson. That's what I'm looking at. So
thank you, Judge, for really bringing what was most important here. You spelled taught, Taught, Jason. God fucking damn it. You know, when I talk about beating my daughter close to death, that's fucked up, bro. She's fucked up too, but you're not any better. Just take a step back. Just take a step back. Holy fuck. And you know, I was just thinking about a salad that I was gonna eat, and now my stomach's turned a bit. Ugh.
Is
That
that,
is what I referred to.
yeah, okay. So Mr. Johnson?
Okay. So it doesn't say anything about you being stoned to death.
But I think the other sufficient evidence is enough to make sure
Ma'am,
that's
it's a
harmful to
yes or a
someone.
no. It does not say that you're to be stoned to death, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's
Doesn't,
what was read.
okay. Doesn't even say that you're to be killed, does it?
Beaten to death? Is
Says,
that what I heard? Beat?
but still live, ma'am.
But, but
But
still
still
live. Wow, that's real refreshing.
fine. And it was a message that he sent not to you, but to his own sister, right?
And there's also more evidence that was
Oh my god, can you imagine talking to your sister about your child like that? Beverly, hi. Oh my god, can you just fucking imagine Thanksgiving? Or 4th of July? Like, when's the next holiday? Easter. Oh my god. What's the Easter egg hunt gonna be like?
it does say stoned to death in different evidence that has been submitted. So maybe we can read through that too.
Has not been submitted, Your Honor. So we because it doesn't exist, frankly. So the text messages, there are lots of text messages where he communicates love and affection to you. Isn't that true?
No,
Your father's never told you he loves you?
any parent would say I love you at some level or another. Yes.
Okay, so your
That
father
doesn't
has told you.
disregard from the last 3 months of harassment. You can love somebody and it still not work out.
So he
She means objection relevance. Because not all parents, it's true. But she does mean objection relevance, Your Honor. She needs a lawyer. She needed a lawyer for this. She's not presenting her case well. She's not likable because she's so angry. She is like at this level, you know? I feel bad. I feel terrible for this. You know, I don't even know if a therapist would touch this. It's a lot to unravel here.
he was harassing you while you were working for him and he was paying you. Is that your testimony?
Not while I was working with him and all that, but there's prior to the whole you throwing the money in there as well. This isn't about the money. This is about the harassment.
I think that the last transfer of money was January 28th, right?
Because you don't mix business and pleasure.
Okay. So when Jason was released,
When Destin was released,
Dustin was released, the
Want to make sure your client is still with us. All right.
I am.
Brian.
I'm sorry. I had to walk away, Your Honor, for a moment. Come on back.
okay.
All right, go ahead,
When
Mr.
Dustin,
Johnson.
thank you, Your Honor. When Dustin was released, are you aware that your father took his nephew into his own home?
I'm well aware. My
And
own husband
are you
reached.
That would be very upsetting. Why would you do that? That is fucked up. Talk about boundaries being crossed. I'm being serious. If you think that he's the bad news bears, that their husband, they're married, and you want your daughter back, why on earth would you bail out the husband and take him to your house? Leave him in jail. Go get your daughter. Am I wrong? I don't think it I think if he cares that much about the relationship with his daughter, that's what he would have done. I don't know. I have so many questions. And the dad might have done it for his dying sister, but she's about to die to be callous. So is that what really matters, or would you rather deal with your living daughter who you hope to have a relationship with? Wow. I'm a terrible person, I guess.
Are you aware that your father took his nephew to his probation appointment the next day?
As he
I
should.
So the let's see. Um,
Oh, by the way, remember we watched yesterday that lady in court drinking the core water bottle? I saw Ryan Hall drinking that, so we know it's bougie as fuck.
just going through my notes quickly, Your Honor. Your Honor, I think that's all I have for this witness at this time.
So is Brian, anything else before I turn to Mr. O'Brien?
No.
All right, let me just see if I've got in particular. I don't think I do. So, Mr. Johnson, any evidence to present from your client?
I don't
Other
think
than,
it's,
of course,
I
it's in
don't,
the court.
I don't think it's necessary, Your Honor. Let me just hold on one second.
Give you a moment to review things.
Actually, I've already been sent the exact frog. It's an artist making this thing. That's what it looks like. It's the exact same one. Judge, what the fuck are you gonna do in this case? Everything is fucked up.
Your Honor, Mr. O'Brien wants to address the court.
All right, so I'll have you pose questions to your client.
Okay. Mr. O'Brien, you've heard the testimony of your daughter. Is it true that the money that you were sending to her husband and her family was compensation for work that they were doing for your business?
yes and no.
Okay, can you explain? Can you clarify that?
Yes, I can. Thank you for asking. Over the years, I have helped Brooke numerous times with cars, vehicles, schooling, as such as her mother has too at times. Uh, there have been over there's been many multiple occasions where I've helped her pay her rent, sometimes her bills throughout the years, as such as her mom has too. And but during a lot of the money that I've given has not always been generated from them working for me. It has been because they might have been slow on bills or money might have been coming in a little bit slower, but dad was there to give them money. When I had the opportunity for them to work, I put them to work when they wanted to work. Um, Hopefully that answers your question.
So let's go to the most recent. Let's go to the month leading up to the filing of this petition. It looks like it's almost $3,000.
Yes, sir.
You know if that was for work or that was as a gift? Can you speak to that?
Yes, sir, I can. For that month, yes, it was for work.
Okay. What about prior to that?
A little bit of everything. I would send $50 here, $30 there. If she had worked for me for 4 or 5 hours, I'd pay for that time, because it was pretty tough for Brooke to find a job because of my granddaughter and stuff. It's tough because of the scheduling on my daughter's and her part. So Brooke would work for me when she could find time to work for me. And there's times being that she didn't have income coming in that month. So I would help them out with bills.
Got it. So, and what was the relationship like prior to you telling your sister that you were planning to bail your nephew out of jail?
I bailed my nephew out of jail to say goodbye to his mother. I didn't do it despite my daughter, to threaten my daughter in no way. I knew getting him out was going to be a situation, but I took that chance for him to say goodbye to his mom. Now, him ending up back in jail was not my doing.
Okay. So the next question that I have for you is the kind of ugly messages that you sent to your sister about your daughter. And it might be horrifying to the judge to hear a father send a message to his sister saying she deserves to be beat and hung but still live, so that she can learn a lesson. Can you provide some context to the court for that? Because it's kind of a shocking comment, and that alone might, create bias. So I want the court to know what your perspective is on that.
Thank you for asking me that so I can define that statement. In no shape or form would I want anything to happen to my kids, my daughters. I just want my daughter to be held accountable for the lies and the picture that she's painted, and stop playing victim and accept accountability in the life for herself and her self-actions. And I understand what I said was not right, and I'll 100% take accountability for that. I could have rephrased my words in a different manner, but at the time, I'm hurt. I'm hurt because of her actions. I didn't raise my child this way, neither did her mother. And so I said some things that I regret, and I do. But at no point ever would I want anything to happen to my kid. Period.
You separated from Brooke's mother when she was about 12?
15.
15, sir.
15.
Yeah.
And you
Relevant. What the fuck?
and the girls stayed with their mom temporarily, and your boy too, and then you had your son live with you. Is that right?
Yes and no. My daughter Megan lived with my ex Tracy. Brooke at that time was moving out, living with her boyfriend Caleb at the time.
At 15?
I was in Shelton, Washington, doing a job. I came back. I got custody of my son. Well, I got custody as in his mother and I came to a certain agreement that Brandon can come live with me. And ever since then, I've had Brandon since middle school all the way through high school.
Got it. And so were your daughters resentful of the fact that you took your son through high school and Brooke had to go live with a boyfriend?
I lived with a
I
boyfriend
can't
in
speak
high
for Brooke's
school.
emotional content at that time.
They wouldn't say that, but that's the truth. Best influence I had, quite well rounded, but not every situation is like that. I don't know what happened with Brooke.
But I sensed jealousy, yes, because Brandon is the youngest. And at that point, I was able to give more to Brandon because my life was different. My business was different. My means were different. Um, I sensed that, yeah, and I tried to compensate that by giving them cars, buying them cars, getting them to things, and it just never worked out for me. It's a tough lesson, tough lesson.
Did you invite Megan to come live with you with her child when she divorced with her husband?
No, I did not. She ended up just showing up, and I opened my house up to her and gave her a place to live.
And she lived with you?
Yes, sir, she did.
So, so it's not. What would you say to their claim that you've been emotionally abusive to the girls?
I wish I could say what I want to say, but I find it to be false. I find it to be false. Um, Not every parent's perfect, nor am I, but it doesn't take away the love I have for them. I never hit them. I never abused them.
Well, that was going to be my next question because Brooke claims that you were physically abusive to her.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So, do you want to provide some context on the "I'll be your demise, little child"? Your lies have gone far enough. You want to provide some context for the court on that statement? That's the only statement
As in the statement, as in I will be your demise.
that whole statement. You can talk about it for the
Okay.
court, please.
Uh, what I meant by that comment was I'm tired of her lies. I'm tired of her not accepting accountability in life for her actions and the decisions in which she's making to continue having to come to me asking for help. When, as a parent, I confront her to try to change the subject. What can we do to prevent you coming to me every month and asking me for help, or every other month? And it goes for all my children, just not Brooke. When I have that parenting talk to them, they get offended because I don't open my, well, I'm just going to say,
I will be your demise, she said.
Sorry, ADHD kicking in here. I also get triggered by shitty parents. Don't text your kids shit like that. Again, just don't. Just fucking stop. Just step back, bro. You don't want to send her money? Don't send her money. You want to send her money? Send her money. It's so simple. That's your choice. If you wrestle with it, wrestle with it. But, I don't have a lot of respect for the back and forth. You know?
because I don't open my wallet as much as I used to. And I want them to be held accountable for their actions. And that's what that meant. I want her to be held accountable.
Did you mean it as a threat?
No, absolutely not, sir. Absolutely not.
Were you upset that your daughter?
Threatening my daughter, threatening my.
Wait, it didn't play the sound. Where's the sound? Casey Carey got a membership. Christopher, thank you so much. I am seriously, my heart is breaking for you. We're sending you love and embracing you with our being. Thank you so much for your support. We're here for you. And Casey Carey, woo! Also, I feel like I missed something. What did I miss? Yeah, I will be your demise. 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 Demise.
My daughter in any shape or fashion affects my relationship with my grandchildren. I have to be nice to them to have a relationship with my grandchildren.
Have you loved on your grandchildren?
Have I? I'm sorry, sir.
Have you loved on your grandchildren?
My grand.
Yes, he has.
They're my life. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I make a better grandparent than I make a better grandparent than a parent. But my grandkids are my life. I mean, I got a grandkid that was just born 2 weeks ago that I haven't seen because of this.
So,
I can't have it. You know, the people that are suffering are my grandkids. My kids aren't going to sit here and say, hey, look, he's a bad grandparent. They won't say that because I'm an awesome grandparent. They drop off their kids to my house, you know, previous to her filing against me. My grandkid was at my house.
So, Mr. Johnson, why don't you pose some questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. Were you upset that your daughter married her cousin?
Yes, absolutely.
Were you worried about her having children with him?
Yes, absolutely.
I have no more questions for Mr. O'Brien, Your Honor.
Right.
May I speak?
Yes, I was just, give me a moment here as I see if there's something I have a question on. Answer that. So, so Brooke O'Brien, anything in response? You said a lot already and provide a lot of information, but anything additional?
So, I appreciate the financial assistance that my father has helped me with, but this is not what this case is about. He is simply doing his parental responsibilities like most parents do for their children in hard times. That does not excuse the
What,
behavior and
past the age of
harassment.
18, Brooke?
Mr. O'Brien,
I'm
please.
sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm
Hold
sorry,
your
Your Honor.
peace and let Ms. O'Brien speak. So go ahead. Ms.
I've
O'Brien, go ahead.
experienced that. That does not excuse his behavior or harassment. The emphasis on money is not irrelevant to this case, nor should it affect this. This is about the behavior, which is he's using and makes himself appear to be a supportive father, which he has been financially, like he has said in his statement, and he's thrown money at a lot of things, but it's not ever his money that we wanted. It was him to take us fishing or his time. I also believe my father uses money to attempt to buy the love, but it's not really helpful. And it doesn't fix anything. He bailed out Destin out of jail 2 days after he was served, and he threatened to do so in messages prior to that, which proves he had ill intentions of him getting bailed out. And that's what I have to say about that.
Great. So, Mr. Johnson, anything on behalf of your client? Any statement?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Hi, Christy. Everyone get your guesses in the chat. Money does fix a lot of problems, but it doesn't fix all of them. It doesn't always fix heartache. But I challenge anybody who really thinks money can't fix a lot. Come on, give me the money. Let me show you how to fix it, baby. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. Boop. Yeah, I'm sensing a big D here as well. Money can pay for therapy. Money can make it worse. But again, then offload the money to me. And then you will be able to see it's not always the money. Ugh, can't sing lately. I gotta get my groove back. Where'd my groove go? Do I need to watch a show? Is it Kung Fu Panda or is there a whole different show? The Emperor's New Groove. That's what it is. Yeah, the biggest D ever. The biggest and worst D ever.
Well, I'm looking at helpfully, Ms. O'Brien, you put, I forget what document it was. It was your declaration that you filed where you kind of summed up the 6 points of what you were making here. So I have to find was there unlawful harassment committed, and I can't find that. This is a horribly failed relationship. it looks, there are statements made that are shocking by your father. But I don't find that they had the intent nor any more than what we call fighting words under the law. And the more recent events is what we're dealing with. Sounds like with the declaration from your mom and the divorce that occurred about 12 years ago, or at least you moved out of the purvey of your father's house about 12 years ago, is what I understand. And your mom's statement that supports you, that your father was not, was abusive, but I don't have any substantial corroboration of that. So I'm not making any findings there. I'm glad to hear that you're not afraid of your father, but these orders have to be based on the law. It's not whether your father's doing something wrong or doing something right, or how he talks to people right or wrong. That's not for the court to issue an order on. And I don't find on all of the information here that there's been unlawful harassment as defined by the law. So therefore, the court cannot issue an order. However, it's obvious that folks don't want to have contact with each other. So you're going to have to make those decisions for yourself and, of course, for your children. But I don't have the basis of evidence here to issue this order. So that's the end of the hearing.
May I speak?
And this order of denial will be in the court file for all parties to access.
Okay, may I
So-
speak to Mr. O'Brien?
I'm not going to take court time to do that. So we'll do that on your own if you feel so inclined.
I don't. I just
But,
wanted to get a wham bam deal.
All right, we're going to move on. We're going to move
Okay,
on
thank
because I have
you.
2 other hearings. So
Your Honor, I would just
everyone can
invite
be
her to contact me.
on their way. Pardon, Mr.
I would
Johnson?
invite her to contact me if she wants. I can. She has my cell phone number. So
All right, that's one avenue.
thank you, Your
Right.
Honor. Appreciate
Be
it.
on your
He's sad. He can't even handle it. He won't even shut off the Zoom, but he will. But he won't. But he will.
Your Honor, are
But
we
he
done
won't.
right now?
You're done. You can be on your way.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, should we watch one more case or should we go? You guys let me know in the chat. One more case or should we go? Oh my God, he shut the computer. Oh no. One more. Well, not the throne toy cellular yoga pants. I got that separate, but I think we could do. Oh my God. Jason's back again. Let's do Miranda's case, shall we? It's got some spicy parts too. And
All right, Ms. Paris, why
mention
don't you
of
come on up and have a
butt wings, if
seat?
I'm not
Ms.
mistaken.
Carnes. Patience. And we're taking up case 2570. And Ms. Paris, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, Ms. Carnes, you'd raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, so give me a moment just to get the documents and petition and so forth up before me. So
That's all. Hi, Casey Carey.
let's see, there was a temporary restraining order issued against Ms. Paris, protecting Ms. Carnes. And that's what we're going to talk about today, whether that continues after today. So Ms. Carnes, are you still asking the court for this order?
I read Molly's statement where she said that she has no interest in ever contacting me again, which is honestly really all I want. But I think I would feel more safe if we just had this just kind of like as an insurance, kind of like, because I am worried that like she may not stick to that.
Well, Ms. Paris, do you object to this order issuing?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
a little silly.
Then let's have a hearing. And I'll start out with Ms. Carnes and know from both of you, let me just, I've had a lot of hearings and I want to re-review what we had here so that I know where I'm coming from. And then I'll turn to Ms. Carnes first, and I'll hear from Ms. Paris. And
So yeah, Judge, you look at that. I'm gonna review my dinner order tonight. It's my special salad. It's fucking delicious. It includes chopped lettuce, red onion, tomatoes, cheddar cheese, grated up. It also includes avocado, and that is tossed with Olive Garden Caesar dressing, available at Walmart.
you open here.
Never. And then wait, Judge. Sorry, you're gonna have to wait because the topping of this salad is the critical thing. I take a chicken burger, which is like a patty that's breaded, and I air fry that, and then I chop that up, and then I coat that in barbecue sauce, and then I put tortillas, crunched up in it. And sometimes if I'm feeling carby, I'll put that into a wrap. And if I'm not feeling carby, then I will just eat it as a salad. It's delicious. You should try it. Absolutely delicious. And it's what I'm binging right now. So because of my unique brand of ADHD, I like get into little food funks, I call them. And then I eat the same thing for a while and then not again for a while. It's a rotation. It's a thing. When I cook for other people, I'm sort of forced to branch out a little bit. But
All
I
right,
always
so
have
Ms.
these,
Carnes,
safe
then
callbacks.
you asked for this order, a temporary order was issued, so this was around March 17th that you came to the.
The only two things I could actually add to I think I'm going to add it, is black beans and corn. Those would be perfect in that salad as well. Carla, I think it is. I don't know. That's all I've been diagnosed with, so that's all I can attribute it to. Somebody told me once I had an eating disorder because I have a weird, very weird sort of eating habits, but it's mostly just about like being able to try new things and then have a safe fallback for me. When I was younger, I wasn't really allowed to do that. Like I grew up in a house where you ate what was put in front of you and you sat at the table until your plate was cleared, even if that meant you sat at the table for hours. So yeah. I never parented like that, but that's like how I was brought up, and so I don't think I have a great relationship with food. I'm just working on that.
Court. Tell me why this court should issue this order.
So I was looking through and I found that the first time I was contacted by Molly was back in July of 2023. And it's just been kind of a constant stalking of my profiles.
When you say that, what does that mean to you?
So it was like multiple times a day, I would get a notification that her username viewed my profile on TikTok. She would message me.
Hold on, we have to talk about this. They send a message about that? They send a message about that? They don't tell me on YouTube who views my profile. You just had to take one bite of dinner. I would imagine that my mom would argue that it's not how I remember it. But how I remember it was a lot of sitting at a table, not eating. But yeah. And texture was a big thing for me. I think this is about lesbians, MB. You pegged it. That's not really a lesbian. Well, I guess. I don't know. What is it called when it's lesbians? Just fucking?
I was also under the
So
impression.
let me step you back though. On TikTok, I mean, that's out in the public domain and you expect people to look at that. How is that stalking in your sense?
Because she would message me about my videos, accusing me that it was about her partner, which is my ex-fiance.
So a
And
message would occur after you saw that she accessed your TikTok, then you'd get the message.
Accessed your dick talk? Excuse me, Judge? Now that is an app I can get behind. Dicks talking. I find that hilarious. But I don't think that's what she's counting on. And scissoring is different. Scissoring is, you don't need an item for that. Pegging, you do. She totally said dick talk. Let's listen again.
which is my ex-fiance.
So a
And
message would occur after you saw that she accessed your TikTok, then you'd get the message, and the message would say that, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So
just
Hey, I saw your dick. Let's talk about it.
kind of
the
that
message,
he really just thinks that I really am interested in being with my ex Chandler, which I have honestly I have no interest in speaking to them again, either of them. I just I hate that I had to make every single one of my profiles private just so that I could live my life without having to worry that like I'm being watched. Because that's like such an unsafe feeling. When I
all right, so then, so the messages were that something about an ex.
yeah, and then there was times when there was threats, which I submitted one of them.
Yeah, the one that you talked about back in November, is that what you're talking about? Being
And
threatened to knock my teeth down my throat after I called her out for once again stalking my profile. So that goes back to November 2nd.
yeah,
Okay, so that was, you had noticed she visited one of your TikTok
yes,
or what? And then,
hanging out with her partner when they were split up. Me and her partner had become friends again, and she was very worried because she loves them and she wants to be with them, and so like felt a little insecure and took it out on me when I the second that I was told like I wasn't wanted around, I left. I blocked on everything. I was like, okay, cool, this is my escape finally, because this has been multiple years now of a very toxic, abusive situation that I just don't want to be a part of it.
jump it back. So November 2nd, you get that, and you didn't come ask for an order. 5 months later, you come for an order. So what did you think that statement meant at that point, threatening to knock your teeth out?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't, I mean, I understand where Molly's coming from because I also used to be very protective over Chandler. And so like the thing that made me worried was Chandler and Chandler's family warning me about Molly and all like telling me that she was a scary person. But I figured that like, I had Chandler around at that time and I thought, I would be okay. And I'm also just used to rolling over, especially in this dynamic relationship. It's just very messy. And I think I just figured I would let it, and we talked it through was the thing, and we both realized that we were being lied to about things because I was told she was an abuser, like we talked it through. So that's why report anything.
Okay, and so
But-
after that November, threat, and then you talked things through with Ms. Paris.
Yeah, and I thought we were okay.
All right, that's good. And then after that, the thing that got you to come to court was
So then all of a sudden, I got a call from my friend who was in town. I see her twice a year. She was at Buffalo Wild Wings. She wanted me to come, which is like just a few minutes down the road from me, right? So I drove there to go meet her because I feel like as the victim of abuse, I can decide if I feel comfortable going to a restaurant that my abusive ex is a cook at. I wasn't planning on seeing her. I thought she would be in the back cooking. And I didn't speak to her at all. However, a few days later, I then received a message from Molly, which I submitted about going to that restaurant. And like, I just, then it was another message and then another message. And it was just happened to be one of the like profiles that I forgot to block when I went through my block list, and it was all in my message requests. And then I didn't respond. And she then said in one of the messages, like, you should have fucking responded to the first message because now I'm going to tell the whole 9 yards or something like that. I'm sure you have the picture in front of you. But
so you added 3 images. You added 3 images to your petition, and it's nearly impossible for you to know when these happened and who writes what. So
okay.
maybe
I'm sorry. I thought I had I know the first time I sent in stuff, things were corrupted, so things might not have fully been sent through the second time.
So they just say, 123 and 128 and time and sluggy lady, and I can't determine who's
Sluggy lady
saying
is Molly's account.
Okay.
And so that's a screenshot of my message request on Instagram because I don't have her added on there, but I did forget to block. And so then all of a sudden, and I didn't even notice the messages at first because, like I said, they're in my requests, so I didn't see them right away. But when I realized that, like, because I haven't spoken to any of them since December. So I just figured, like, clean cut, never have to deal with it again. And then all of a sudden I'm receiving message after message, and she's viewing all my stories again. And I'm scared of getting like pulled back into that toxicity, and from messages from the ex and her current partner, and messages from her herself saying that she gets violent and abusive when she drinks. It scares me.
Did you ever see that when you knew her?
I did not, because I've only ever seen her like twice in person. I've never really interacted much with her in person. I mostly just know of her through stories from Chandler, which was like a year and a half of a story of like Molly abusing her. And so I don't know what's true and what's not. And so that's why I just figured, and I'm not the type of person, I just wanted to like let it blow over. But I had my therapist and my care coordinator and all of my friends that have been watching this go on for years just finally just be like, you have to do something. So I am.
Right. Okay. All right. And anything that you wanted to comment on what was filed by Ms. Paris?
Just the idea that it's a retaliation. It's really not. If it was, I would have, gone with the years of abuse evidence that I have on my phone against her partner if it was retaliation. And I'm not doing that because I just want this to be over. But I also really respect the fact that Molly's willing to not reach out to me again. And because that's, at the end of the day, what I want, because in a way, it's like, I know that me going to the restaurant her partner works at upset her, clearly.
That's real.
But for me, I feel like it's better to face the devil you know than the one you don't. So like, I know how Chandler hits. I don't know how Molly does, but I've heard stories, and that just scares me. And I just
Ma'am, what?
think that, like,
What did you just say? You can't. Oh my. Yeah, slap fights is real. I'm sure I would love to see the waivers. Maybe one day I'll ask Mikey to get me a copy of the waiver, and I'd love to review it.
when you don't. So like, I know how Chandler hits. I don't know how Molly does, but I've heard stories, and that just scares me. And I just think that, like, I want out fully, and I just want to move forward with my life, and I can't do that if every move I'm making on social media is being stalked. It makes me paranoid. And I don't want to live that way anymore. There's a reason that I have walked away. There's a reason I moved homes. Like, I want to leave for real, which includes having my ex's girlfriend leave me alone. But I appreciate the response, and I understand why Molly might think some of the things that she does, but I just want out, and I don't want to get hurt in the process.
All right, so, Ms. Paris, then you did file a 4-page response, and I appreciate that. It's always helpful to have things put to writing. And I've had an opportunity to look at that before court, and again, re-reviewing things, so I'm on the right page here. Anything else, Ms. Paris?
Yes, I would like to say there has been contact between Miranda and Chandler's mother, Chandler herself, and she has reached out to both of Chandler's siblings, who are younger than us and definitely younger than her. And she has been let know. Chandler had explained to her after everything that has happened.
I don't want to hear anyone talking to me about what Chandler is saying.
It is because
not of issue.
Miranda has been let know.
Miranda has been let know is the way that you try and get around hearsay. It looks like Chandler is an opposites kind of girl. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? Look at her face. Oh, Lordy be. People, again, just leave each other alone. Leave each other alone.
That I was misrepresented. So I do think it's interesting that she's continuing to bring up the fact that she's heard stories. Chandler has a year and a half of this, but it's within the last few months, like at the beginning of everything, Chandler reached out and was like, hey, by the way, I did make up like all of that. So I'm not going to keep disrespecting Molly and choosing to hang out with you because it wasn't fair that I treated her like that, basically. And also mainly just this whole concept of that I have been continually messaging her and stalking her. I cannot comment on anything from the July stuff because I honestly don't remember at all. But what I do have is the messages on TikTok, because the whole reason I had reached out onto her TikTok account, besides looking, because it's social media, she saw that I viewed her account, and then she had made a post on her story saying like, I see you, bitch, you mad? And so I replied, and I was like, oh, no, I'm not. Blah, blah, blah. And that's where you see the ones from me threatening her.
Yeah, you can still not look. This is I get the vibe though. Here's the thing. I used to, and it's so easy, especially Facebook I find, but I imagine Instagram's the same, or TikTok. I don't use those apps and I don't use Facebook anymore, but I used to, and oh my God, you're in there and you're so mad and you're only upsetting yourself looking at people's profiles like that. You just gotta stop. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. Like, I can't condemn all social media. I mean, I literally do this for a job on YouTube, but I personally, and nobody believes this, and people get upset when I don't reply to them on Facebook. Fuck, I'm not on Facebook. I don't go to it. I don't look at the alerts. I don't. I wasn't even lured there on my birthday to see which people fucking said happy birthday. I don't care. I absolutely do not care at all. I keep it only because of the pictures that I have posted on there, and I don't want to delete them.
The first time on November 2nd. And I don't understand where she's gathering this idea that she's in danger if she's continually reaching out to me, which is shown in the first exhibit where she came to
Petitioner's exhibits?
Or
Or your exhibits?
my exhibits.
Yeah. that's what I thought.
So exhibit A, I guess. And this is also why I wanted to argue at least the drug assessment.
These are from December 11, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And the threat happened on November 2nd. We became friends basically that day after finding out that we were both getting lied to. And she wanted all three of us to be friends. She came to pick up drugs from my place of residence, which is why I think it's funny that she's filing for a drug assessment and talking
Well,
about my
this court
drinking.
isn't going to be ordering anything like that. No matter what I do, we don't have that authority. So, but this is evidence then that you've been having this.
We've been having a situation where she wants to hang out, and the last contact that I have of her is from December 23rd. That's this exhibit B, where she is asking to come hang out with me and Chandler to go to a karaoke bar, I think it was. And then,
All right, what's your exhibit C? I can't quite figure out.
this was proof of
Who's talking to
her
who?
coming to Chandler's workplace. And the reason
Okay.
that was like, yeah, cool, you can go where people work, I guess. She has been well aware of Chandler's scheduled days and what Buffalo Wild Wings, where it is, she's gonna be there. And she's not just a cook, she's a server now, and Miranda would be in like knowledge of that because they were hanging out when that started.
Okay.
And this basically is just a retaliatory thing because the only reason this was filed when she was referring to her exhibit of the like me saying she should have responded, it was because I have been continuing to find out information that she has been talking about to like multiple people. I found out that her mother has found out about like my addictions past and like homelessness and things like that. And she has continued to make posts about me, but it isn't indirect, so technically it could not be, but talking about how at least I know my ex is crazy on the day that Chandler let her know she didn't want to hang out anymore. And it kind of just seems like she's mad she didn't get the last laugh type of thing whenever Chandler stops talking to her, because that's when, around that time is when she petitioned this and then went through and deleted all of the posts she had made, which kind of like shows she knows that posts aren't going to line up with actions type of thing. Yeah, it's just a little silly.
All right, so your point here is that that there isn't a basis to find, tell me if I'm wrong, there's not a basis to find that you're intending to commit unlawful harassment.
Exactly.
Chandler's not
because
pictured.
I have never been.
Ma'am, Chandler's not pictured. This over here is Molly. And this over here is Miranda. Oh, maybe they have an M kink. An M kink. Who do you know whose name starts with the letter M that you love? Put it in the chat.
Asked to stop contacting her. I went through every message that I have on my phone given. I cannot talk about July. I don't have any of that. There has never been a Molly, you need to stop contacting me. I've gotten her being antagonizing on the story and then wanting to be my best friend for a while. And then once she had stopped talking to Chandler because Chandler cut it off, that was the day she also cut me off. So it's kind of like she was, yeah, this is just silly, basically. There's no harassment. I look at Instagram or TikTok, I apologize. It's been public up until literally 3 days ago. So it seems like she's elaborate. She has not been putting forth the effort to make it known that I'm scaring her or making her feel paranoid or harassed. So this was just a bit silly, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, Ms. Carnes, I'm not issuing an order against
Yeah.
Ms. I don't find it silly. You know, that's up to Ms. Paris to decide how she feels about it. But there just isn't, and I have to find, is there an intent on Ms. Paris to commit unlawful harassment against you, all of her actions specifically to cause you emotional distress and actually causing it and having no lawful or legitimate purpose for it. I can't find what the law defines as unlawful harassment. So there will be the order ends. There will be no further order going forward. I think the two of you have made it clear to each other you're not real interested in having any contact. So I suggest that you go along those lines. And so that's it for today. I'll write an order that ends the matter. And that's in the file. So
Well, thank you so much.
The two of you.
Have a great day.
Thank
Oh
you, Your
my
Honor.
God.
So long.
Cringe, 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 cringe. Cringe, cringe. The judge writes her order. We have more tomorrow. Get excited, ladies and gents. We're gonna have a long one tomorrow as well. We have the thrown sex toys. Yeah, you heard that right. And more. Okay? Be prepared. Plus, we have a follow-up to a case that we covered where somebody lied to the court, and I believe they're being sentenced for it. So I will have to be digging through my archives tonight to find that original case. And then we'll watch both of them tomorrow. So, thank you guys so much for being here. I set this up to redirect somewhere. Thrown sex toys for grown people. John, thrown sex toys for grown people. I did set this to redirect somewhere. I can't remember where that is, but wherever it is, please be nice. And have a good time. And do me a favor. Remember that I love you. And I'm proud of you. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Ways down and